Hey guys, welcome to Talking Assets ATL. Of course, you have your co-host here, Jabril Porter.
And I'm Mrs. Key.
I'm Diamond.
And today is a very special day. We're going to be talking about budget, but we also have a special guest here today, Thelma Cheeks.
Hi guys, I'm Thelma Cheeks.
Hi, Thelma.
We're going to let you properly introduce yourself, okay? I always feel like people give their best introductions. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do. And
All right, so my name is Thelma Cheeks. I'm a realtor with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Metro Brokers. I have my own business, Cheeks Real Estate Group, LLC, and I've been in the industry now for about 4 years. I come from an entrepreneurial background. I did hair for 23 years, self-employed. Yeah.
Your hair looks
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you. Yes. So I'm a
Your hair looks
retired
amazing.
hairstylist. Thank you. And I'm from Michigan, just like Key. We're from Grand Rapids. Go Grand Rapids. And so yeah, we moved here about the same time. I've been here about 6 years now. It'll be 6 years, I think, in March, maybe even 7. 2018, no, 6 years. It'll be 6 years in March. And I just really wanted to get a career that was very similar to hair as far as entrepreneurship. I wanted to be in charge of my own hours, my own time, my own money, my own value. So instead of doing hair here, because I couldn't bring, my clientele here, I decided to do real estate. And I'm talking a little much, but I'm telling you all of that to say the reason why I got into real estate is mainly because people, a lot of people moved to Atlanta from other areas, right? And it was kind of difficult for me. So the lady that I had to try to purchase my house, she was like, "You're not ready," and she kind of just dropped me. And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do that." So real estate it is.
Yes.
No, I'm here for that introduction. I feel like everybody has somewhat of a backstory as it pertains to real estate, even if it wasn't in like a professional capacity. Maybe they had a realtor and it went great. Maybe they had a realtor and it didn't go so great. And now they're real estate agents.
They're like, "Hey, I'm gonna be a realtor now." Playing.
I think it'll also be interesting to hear your budgeting style, especially because you were in a few different industries when it comes to being an entrepreneur. So that'll be pretty dope.
So the income stream looks different too in those different industries.
So
So that leads me into my very first question. I made a post on social media recently about the struggle with money, right? And I think for most people, including myself, like money management is the real challenge. And I think with inflation, right? Like couple it with inflation, I don't even know how we're surviving.
I have no idea.
Okay, listen. So I want us to talk about budgeting. I think that would be fitting. But first, does anybody budget? No, you grin too quick for me.
No.
Do you budget, Diamond?
I don't. How can I put it? So I budget, but not how y'all be budgeting. Like y'all got the paper and pen and be putting y'all stuff together. I just like, okay, well I know I'm gonna get this amount of money,
Right.
And I know when my account looking like this,
Yeah.
slow down on the spending, but I don't really take the time to sit down and write everything out and just really
getting
so,
kind of structured around it as
right.
well. But you have an idea of what the budget ought to be.
An idea, but I'm here to take notes, so y'all can help me out so I can do better, because I do want to do better, especially being an entrepreneur.
I think the key thing is knowing the cash flow that's coming in, income coming in, and expenses going out.
Okay.
Once you got those two things down pat,
So that's what budgeting looks like for you. Looking at your income and also looking at your expenses. Okay. What about you, Thelma?
So for me, budgeting has always been a thing that I did. With the hair industry, money was coming in on a daily basis. All I had to do was go to work. Like I was very blessed in that career. So one thing that I learned from a lot of different mentors that I had over the years is keep your entrepreneurship money separate. So like the business has to feed the business, right? So basically the money coming in from that business, that needs to go into a separate business account.
Yes.
So I've always been I've been a stickler for keeping the money separate. And trying to save, like I do 10% for my tithes off the top. I do 10% for saving off the top. And then, like I said, the business has to feed itself. So whether it's the cash flow for the business or the long-term savings for the business, the marketing for the business, you know, and the advertising. I always compartmentalize everything. So I have sometimes like 10 and 12 different accounts. It seems chaotic to other people, but I have to put everything in a separate place. Now, sometimes I might have to pull from all the Pauls, you know, and to pay Peter or whatever, but I definitely separate all of the funds. For me, it just keeps everything sane because I know what the business can afford. I know what the household can afford.
Yeah.
And, you know, with me, I was married for 25 years. So with me being married, my husband, his money was more consistent, right? So that was kind of like the personal home finance stuff. So if we wanted to travel and whatnot, I took care of that. You get what I'm saying? So I paid the business, I paid myself, I paid God, like literally, and God was always first. He's always first, 10% off the top. Ma'am. And I never have a deficit. Each and every month, it always works out.
So you're budgeting. You're not just, okay, let me check one account. You got this. Let me.
Yeah, how do you how often do you check your accounts, right? Because you're talking about what could be easily 6 to 10 bank accounts.
Well, really daily. Okay. I know what's going in. Like my husband, he used to. Okay, so recently divorced. You know, I digress. But he hated when I got into the accounts because I could tell when he went $20 out of the budget. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
you asked him.
I'm like, you had money for that. Why did you debit $20? This is for the bills, you know? So I'm that girl. And then even with the business, I make sure I have credit cards for the business for different things. Because, you know, we have fees with our real estate brokerage. So I have a Cheeks Real Estate Group credit card for the fees for the budget, you know, for real estate.
Right.
And then I also have another credit card for like marketing and advertising. So I know what I'm spending and it's all compartmentalized.
Nice.
I think that's the best way to kind of stay organized with your finances is separation. Because if you separate it, you almost kind of forget about it. Like separate it from your day-to-day spending. Because you don't want to be taken from your savings or your marketing advertisement budget. You know, you gotta allocate your funds, give them some place to go. But I'm glad that you made the distinction from your business budget and your personal budget, your house budget, right? Because then you get into a topic about commingling and all of the things, but we ain't gonna do that today. But I wanted to segue into, I don't think it's any secret, you recently purchased a home, right? So when you talk about day-to-day budgeting, that's one thing, but large purchases, you know, how did you prepare for that? Like, what's the backstory on how you prepare for such a large purchase?
Right. So I have one of the 10, 12 accounts is a long-term savings account. I used to work for a company, State Farm Credit Union, for a little while. They have an awesome credit union, right? So when I have big money, or you know, when that money in the savings account and my regular primary savings account starts building up, I push it over there, and the dividends are much better. You know, the interest is greater.
Is it on the money market account?
It's not. It's just a regular savings account, but it pays good dividends, right? So so I was throwing money over there, and then this is my third property. So the first one we had back home, we had some money saved from there. So that went into that account. The more money you have in the savings account when you're building interest, you know, the more it grows, right? So I always had that long-term savings over there. And the second property we still have. And then this one was the third property that I bought with the business myself. So it was all bank statement loans. And it was awesome because, you know, I've been in the industry for 4 years and I've always kept that money separate. So when the lender asked me for 12 months bank statements, it was like, okay, you want all 12 accounts? Or do you just want...
That's when it gets complicated. It's like, which bank?
That's where it got a little sticky. But it was cool because I had it, you know, and it was a little confusing, but I had it. I started off with just what the business brought in, because when we get our checks, it only goes into one account. So I started off with that. But, you know, with lenders, and any lender will tell you, once you tell them anything about any account, now you got to source it. You got to prove it. So it kind of got a little messy and it was very frustrating, but it was also rewarding because I wouldn't have been able to get it if I couldn't afford it, right? So the money was coming in. And so because I put everything into the bank account, they were able to source that money. So
Nice.
it was cool. Did I answer your question?
You did. You talked about, long-term savings, right?
In a separate place.
And just to get, I guess not to make it too complicated with these several bank accounts that she has, okay?
I named them.
Right.
It's easier for me. Like I literally named them. Like one says marketing, one says saving, one says, payroll or whatever, and then the personal is there. So I named them. It's
easy for you.
It's
right?
easy for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I guess I'm just curious, like from the very beginning, right? When you made up your mind that, hey, it's my intention, it's my goal to purchase another property this year. Even from a goal setting aspect, like what did that look like for you?
Right.
Like how did you even start getting that process going before the lending piece?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cutting my expenses.
Go ahead.
Cutting my
Go
expenses.
ahead.
My
Can
car.
we cheers to that?
Okay.
Listen, that don't get enough love. That don't get
I heard you.
He
Yeah.
don't get enough
He wants to
empty.
Uh-huh.
He would definitely, that's his thing.
Yeah.
I heard you say that on one of the podcasts.
Yeah.
Actually, we live above our means. My car, I have a Prius, 2013 Prius. Okay, she been paid off for at least 3 or 4 years. All right, and it was nothing wrong with her. Nothing's wrong with her. Why would I get a new car? You know, sometimes people are like, oh, I'm driving new every 2. Why? So I've never been that girl. I don't spend crazy money on purses. I do my own hair. So I cut my expenses, and so, and I had that goal. I was like, I'm not getting a car yet. I'm purchasing another property. I want an investment property. I'm purchasing another property. So that I planned that probably 2 years prior to. Absolutely.
It takes time, I feel like when we have, our meetings with clients or potential clients, right? We don't tackle that topic enough of cutting your expenses, right? Making some sacrifices because this is not an inexpensive venture.
Not at all.
Right.
Okay. It takes coin. And while there are, resources out there to lower your out-of-pocket expenses, you still have to put up. Okay. So, and I don't think that's a dig at people that, we say are keeping up with the Joneses. I think we have to keep up with inflation now, and not only just inflation, but home prices have also gone up. So was there any challenge with that, right? When you had it that you were going to purchase, I don't know what budget you had in mind, but then with, you couple that with interest rates and home prices going up, was there any challenges with that?
So with that bank statement loan, I did have to put a significant amount of money down.
Okay.
I went into the process thinking I was going to have to put down 20%. I only had to put down 10% because her credit is good.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Cheers
to that.
She's like,
cheers to that.
I have no more, so I'm just at this point.
So I only had to put down 10%, and so it was good. She pre-approved me for a nice amount. I tried to do half of what she pre-approved me.
Okay, listen.
That's
a good budget.
I was like, if you say I can afford, $500,000, I'm looking for $250,000. Okay. Ended up settling around like the $300,000 mark. But it was perfect. Like the location, I couldn't have asked for anything better. Like when you really set your mind to do something, I feel like God just kind of paves the way for you. You know what I'm saying? Like this house, I feel like it literally fell out the sky. I wanted to be close to my son's school. It's literally right down the street.
Right.
So, so I was looking for a while because I wanted to be within 10 to 15 minutes of the marital home, right? So I was literally circling that area. And Key, you have a duplex, right? So I was looking for something like that. I didn't necessarily want a duplex, but I wanted something with an extra space that I could rent out. And private, away from my house and my normal day-to-day business and whatnot. So I was very strategic in what I was looking for.
Nice.
And I found it literally just that.
Yeah. I think there's something about like getting clear on what it is that you want, right? And just setting, putting that ball in motion, because we get a lot of people, they don't know where they want to live. Like, I'm just like, how? Like, where do you work? Where do your kids go to school? But when you have a clear vision about where it is that you want to live, what your price point is, what your budget is, you know, like it's just easier to navigate that home buying process.
Absolutely.
And you represented yourself, I'm assuming.
For sure. For sure. I was my worst client. I almost stopped production for a whole 3 months because I was focused.
Yeah.
Like, I was taking calls, I was doing stuff, but I feel like I probably could have held some people's hand a little bit longer, you know, but because I was a serious client and time was ticking, because you know those pre-approvals only last for so long.
Right.
And then when you're getting all them bank statements and all this stuff, all of that is changing all the while, you know. So like if you're not producing as much, okay, now you don't got as much money coming in. I didn't want her to drop my pre-approval
because of a slower month.
Correct. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I got to get on this, and once I get me done, then I'll get back into production and whatnot. Nice. But yeah, I was my worst client. I was like, I probably went through 4 inspections. 4. Oh, wow. I was under contract like 4 times and terminated or went through an inspection, or I just sat down and I was like, you know what? That's a beautiful home. I don't like that mortgage.
Listen, that happens. That happens to, happens to our clients all the time.
I was like, nope, it doesn't sit well within my soul.
So I have a question. So since, you know, you budget a lot and you decided, of course, to purchase your 3rd investment property.
Yep.
So how long did it take you from setting that goal and deciding, hey, I'm going to actually start budgeting for this till when you actually purchase?
It was a 2-year process.
2 years.
It was a 2-year process. Yep. But it didn't take me long to find the property. It was like 2 months to find the property.
Okay. Because I know some people, when they think of, hey, I'm budgeting, or I want to do something as far as, you know, getting money to the side, they don't have a time frame. But actually,
and I think it depends on the budget as well, right? You know, some people may already have money saved and put away, and then some people might just be starting from zero.
Yep.
So I think you just have to know what does your income look like, right? And what the expenses look like currently, so we can start making adjustments to, you know, get to the goalposts. But that's a great point. It takes time. Everybody's journey is different.
And you got to remember, that was an investment property. So it wasn't the primary space. So I wasn't going FHA. It wasn't 3.5% down. It wasn't a traditional conventional. So it wasn't, 3% down. It was 10%, so that's a little bit more.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit more time to divvy up. And then there was a bank statement loan on top of that. Definitely. So, when you talk about first time home buyers, there's so many programs available to them. You could get sellers contributions, so sometimes if people ain't even got no money, like right now I was just talking to one of my lenders, and he just texted me out the blue, and he said, the city of Atlanta is giving $10,000 in grants. And I said, oh, okay, I'm on it. And I did a deal like that last year with a young lady who was a teacher, but it was specifically for like teachers and, Atlanta specific, government professionals and stuff like that. But she literally didn't have to pay anything at closing. It was a very little bit, little amount.
Nice to hear that.
Yeah.
So let me ask a question now. With your budgeting, like, how did you pick up those habits? Where did you pick them up from?
Well, okay, so my mom wrote everything down. I heard you say you like to write everything down. Mama wrote everything down. I knew when she had bills coming, it was a calendar in the kitchen, and she wrote when the bill was due and all that stuff. So I literally have a planner with just the bills in it, and I highlight them in bright yellow. But I try to be a month ahead. So first of the month come, I try to pay all of those bills at the first of the month. And with the credit cards and stuff, if I can't pay the full thing, I'm at least gonna pay the minimum. But usually I pay the full amount. Like I don't charge anything that I can't pay off in a month. But obviously with real estate, it's so up and down, you do have to save ahead of time, so sometimes you do have to tap into that savings to pay for that. But my mom, she wrote everything down, and she worked hard. Like I have 2 jobs. A lot of realtors are not upfront with the hustle. It's a real grind, and you can't just sit back and wait for a closing, because sometimes you can do everything that you can and you still just don't have a closing.
Right.
So I have a part-time job. I have talents that I can kind of dig out my pocket and monetize.
Listen, it's not OnlyFans. I mean, that didn't sound right when she said it, so we have to clarify.
I mean,
she's a woman of many talents.
I can't.
I might sell some bundles, you know.
Yeah.
Cheers to being a
multiple
great
hustles.
entrepreneur.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you need a refill.
I need a
He
refill.
Sure does. Put that down. Put that down. We started talking about budgeting. He started drinking. He like, you know what?
Because it can be stressful.
It can be. Yeah.
So, to close this up, as you guys know, it's tax season, right? And most people are getting a tax refund, whether legitimately or not legitimately. But for those people who are preparing to purchase, right, and they're going to come into some money from tax season, how might you, suggest that they utilize those funds?
Honey, put it in the savings account. Don't go buy another car. You don't need another car. I feel like everybody wants to. No shade. I know you deal cars.
Yeah, I was about to say.
No
Look,
shade,
go
but
buy a car.
we don't
He
need
said, call
a
me
new.
if you need
We
it.
don't need a new car every year or every other year. I get so sick of our people buying new cars every year.
Yeah,
or taking a vacation. Okay, do you deserve a vacation right now?
Look,
Let's be
I'm
honest.
convicted.
Let's be honest. Do we deserve a vacation? Like, I literally just had a few weeks off of my other job, and I didn't go anywhere. I did a couple welfare checks.
I was gonna say surprisingly, yeah.
But guess what that other job is? I work for the airline.
True.
You fly for free.
I fly free. Me and my
True.
whole family.
True.
So you
Very
still
strategic.
budgeting.
I'm
Very
very strategic.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
gem.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so
I was gonna say you jet set a lot.
I mean, but hey, I don't really pay top
True.
dollar for the stuff.
That's true.
And then when I do, I put it on a credit card that gets rewards and points, and then it pays for itself.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to be real with what you can do.
Okay.
You
So
know.
put it in a savings.
Put
is
it
what
in a
we're
savings
suggesting.
account.
Okay.
Don't run out and go buy that big item that you've been thinking about, because it's a time and a place for it all. If you need a new car, want a new car, get the house first. Because once you get the house, that credit is going to go through the roof. Like, it's going to get better, even better than what you was trying to make it for the actual pre-approval.
Yeah.
It gets better. They will send you all kind of offers, and you can take that trip. I promise that, St. Lucia ain't going nowhere.
So it's gonna be there.
That
Gonna be
cruise
there next
line-
tax season.
Right. That cruise line gonna have another special.
Come on.
So yeah,
The
don't.
St. Lucia part hit hard. I feel like that message was for me.
For all of us, I really appreciate you sharing today.
Thank you so
course.
much.
Yes,
Giving
thank
us
you
the
for having
backstory.
me.
Yeah,
Of
backstory
course.
on your home purchase and just how you stay organized, not just in your personal life, but in business, right? Because that's gonna be helpful to us
Right.
coming up
Definitely.
as newer agents, right?
Yeah.
But
Of course.
I hope y'all had some great tips from this. Listen, I think Thelma is the Mrs. Got It Together.
Listen,
Listen,
you got it together. I like
got
that.
it together.
God got me.
I love it. Well, we're going to wrap it up. We appreciate y'all, tuning in for this episode and all of the episodes where we talk, assets, ownership, real estate, entrepreneurship, and today budgeting. We hope this added value to your life. I know I sure took some great takeaways
I
from
did.
it.
Of course.
Let us know in the comments if you guys have a budget and how you budget. I know there's a lot of systems out there as well that can kind of simplify it than maybe having 10 and 12 accounts like Thelma. But I think the best way to budget is however you do it. If you're not using those systems, then it really serves you no benefit. So thank y'all for watching. Thanks for being here, Thelma.
Have a good
Thank
one,
you
you
for having
guys.
me.
Bye.